Smoke alarm?
I didn't even know we had a smoke alarm in here. I'm Michael Essa, and I'm going to take this 2016 340i and turn it into a drift car. Through the FCP Euro. Welcome back. We've been crazy on this thing, put tons of the car together, thrashing to get it done. So we've got dyno scheduled tonight at 6 o'clock. Right now it's 1, so we've got 5 hours. The car hasn't started yet. Still finishing up a few things on the wiring. Just finished up everything in the engine bay, all the plumbing, bled the brakes, bled the clutch. We're gonna dump some fuel in this thing, put some oil in it, get all the fluids in there, start putting the bodywork stuff on it, and then hopefully we can fire it up before 4 o'clock, make sure everything's good, put it on the trailer, head to the dyno, cross our fingers that everything goes well, because it's supposed to leave tomorrow on a transporter to go to Gridlife in Michigan. So we got a lot of work to do. Cool. I mean, it's a bone stock engine. I'm shooting for like between 600 and 700, depending on how everything's going and how much boost we have to run. It could probably take more than that, but first time out, just shaking it down, I don't think we need a ton more power. Make sure it's reliable, so should make that power no problem.
Not yet.
Yeah, we can plug it in, then we can do a full calibration on it and see what it's doing.
Yeah, because we can actually move the blade if we have to.
Yeah, exactly. So that's 100% shut. And then we'll go all the way open, but just like it.
I had to do it. I can
Okay,
get it.
you got it, yeah.
Yep.
Good, good. Do you want, I think more here, like on the black, separated from. And they're on. Yeah, so he's basically controlling the laptop via team viewer.
Yeah.
He can do everything and run through all the systems and check everything. So
Any reason you're not pulling all coils, all plugs?
well, I mean, I'm not worried about pulling the spark plugs, but
It's usually easier to test the camera crank with no plugs, but I mean, I guess if it's right off the bat, then
yeah, we'll see how it.
why are you trying to do? What are you trying to do first? I'm just reaching.
I'm just pulling these out so when we do the injector test to make sure one is one, the coils, you know, so that way we can just move through them quickly.
Just because this one's a lot different test than this, so this will be a quick. Brr, brr, brr.
Exactly.
That one has to go through the igniter, and we have to turn coil power on.
Like a downshift. There's also no rear brake pressure sensor, just front and clutch. John Reed is working on the Motec. Basically, he's on remote tune right now. In here, working on the software, setting everything up, checking everything. And here's the dyno. Yo, we're working on it, and I think we probably have about an hour more. The guys are waiting for us at the dyno. We're still going through everything and checking all the systems, making sure everything is correct before we try to start it up, so we can go through and look at everything. We've already powered up the fuel pumps. There were some small leaks at the fitting, so we got those tightened up. Fans working, ECU is communicating, the dash is working. So just kind of going through every single system step by step, looking at all the data. We got the throttle pedal to the throttle body working. That actually came together really quickly, considering we didn't really know the pinout on the throttle body, but Greg knows what he's doing, so he's able to figure out which way, where the sensors were. There's 6 wires basically. There's 2 powers, 2 grounds, and 2 sensors that work backwards. Got that figured out. Gonna check for spark, make sure the injectors are working. We can kind of go through one by one and make sure they're all pinned out correctly to make sure they're firing at the right time. Then we're gonna check the timing and make sure that the timing is 0. Then we should be able to fire it up, hopefully in about a half an hour. It's gonna be running. Okay, number 5. Good. All right, number 6. Good.
I found an easy way to deal with the transmission disconnect. If you lay in line with the tunnel and you put both arms around it like this, you can get right to it.
That's what I did.
I was trying to do both arms on one side and couldn't do it.
Yep. I'm gonna turn the ignition off for a second and then turn it back on. Let's get the fuel pumps to prime again. Turn it down. You're watching in front?
I'll stay up here.
Okay.
I got eyes with him, so cool.
I'll watch fuel cell and back here.
Cool. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, I'm ready.
Clear.
Ready? Ooh, it's alive. It sounds fucking loud.
Yeah. We'll fire it up again. Are you guys clear?
Clear. Ready.
All right, starting.
Clear.
Yeah. Oh, it's a ton of crankcase vacuum.
So you think it's crankcase?
That's what it sounded like to me. Because I opened the oil cap and it was like a ton of vacuum in there still. And there's this vent right here that used to go into the intake tube.
Oh.
So I asked Steph, like, do I need to run that to the intake? Like, or just anywhere, like, before, like, post filter? And he said you can just plug it, but I don't know if it's the same on this as it is on the Supra. So, and that was definitely a high crankcase, like pulling past the seals. With the oil pump, it's got a vacuum pump inside that turns with the oil pump. And that's how it gets vacuum for the brake booster. And that's plugged with a metal plug. And then there's another crankcase hole, so I don't know where it gets the vacuum to create a vacuum from.
Clear.
Definitely crankcase vacuum.
Wow. Oh, no smoke alarm?
I didn't even know we had a smoke alarm in here.
As long as the sprinklers don't come on, we're good.
All right, starting. Steph told me, like, to plug that hole up so it can't, you know, get vacuum. But it sounds like it's just pulling the vacuum from
Somewhere else.
from the case instead of out of that hole.
What happens if you unplug that line? Or open that on the block?
Yeah, well, I put a fucking metal plug in there.
Ooh.
But I did make it so I could possibly get it out, but there's so much shit in the way right now. So it's coming out of the engine, not out of the turbo.
It's forcing it out.
The car looks so good.
Dude, it doesn't even look like an FD car. That's what I was just telling you.
That's so it's like a normal show car.
Yeah. Right when the Corona shake, right when we went to lockdown, I just finished a
completely
black.
lubricated. Oh, it's fresh oil all over it. Yo, Sean, basically there's a hole in the back side of the driver's side of the block that's like the brake booster vacuum hole. So I plugged that up like Steph said.
Yeah, okay.
And I've got the original, you know, valve cover vent going to a catch tank.
That's just like this.
The crankcase vacuum was insane.
Right, that's what she said.
Yeah, so I put that fuel pump block off plate that Steph gave me that has like the dash 10 on it.
Yep.
I put that on there open, and
Yep.
you know, problem solved. Like it's open.
Huh.
So, but it's still smoking like crazy. So I'm gonna put a borescope camera in there and see if the like cylinder walls are screwed or something, like from so much crankcase vacuum that it sucked the rings out and it was running dry with no oil, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of at this point, because it's...
This is the motor that we just did the head gasket stuff for?
Yeah.
Good job.
It's a turbocharged motor, obviously.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be down to fix it tonight?
No, but dude, have you guys tried to call Steph just for...
Not yet. You're the first guinea
Call
pig.
him. Call him.
Okay.
Because he could have some better...
insight on it.
Yeah.
Dude, it doesn't... Yeah, it's weird. Was this motor ever run before, Mike, that you know this is a good motor?
Yeah, you drove it before.
No, this was like a solid, 40,000 mile running street car.
Okay, so you do know for sure it was a good motor.
The motor was good. Yeah, I drove it back from Santa Barbara when I bought it.
Right on, man. Thanks, Sean. Get back to work.
All right, no problem.
Thanks, bro. Later. Come up with more evidence. Before
Yeah, I'm going to peek in here before I call Steph.
All right, this could get ugly.
Yeah, clear, because it's probably going to fucking spray oil and shit.
Clear. Good. Solid.
220,
Holding.
200.
Oh yeah, that's solid.
200.
Do you care more to do a leak down test if all these are good?
No.
Because what's the difference? I mean, what the fuck?
The only thing, leak down tells you where it's coming from. But if compression's good, then you don't need to know where any. I mean, nothing's wrong. So.
Fucking right away, dude.
200.
Yeah. The only oil that's on it would have been blown on it. It's not sitting in oil.
Exactly,
So
and it should be all dripping off of it, not soaking into it. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's push it back outside and fire it up again. Clear.
Clear.
B58, man. On the back, or the block near the oil pan,
yeah.
there's a vacuum pump inside of the case that's driven by the oil pump. Basically, it's connected to the oil pump. But basically, it's a vacuum pump.
It's not on the side of it, right? It's on the back.
No, it's on the side.
That's on the side back
Yeah,
there, right? I
yeah.
remember something back there.
There's that hole with like a plastic thing coming out of it for a hose for the vacuum booster. So Steph told me to plug it, so I just plugged that up. But I also don't know why this isn't letting the air in. Like, why did I have to open up that thing? Yeah, turn those.
Be a bitch if that oil. That'd be a whole different problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
It wasn't a whole lot better than not putting oil in it.
More oil doesn't mean more oil pressure.
Oh, they actually like ran it? Like
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, I don't know. It's like
The motherfucker should have been dripping out right now, though.
it's exhaust, but I mean it's not leaking down.
It's also coming out of the.
But I mean,
So where's it getting oil in still? Did you pull the valves out all the way, or just like do the springs with the valves like kind of
No, took the valves out all the way.
valve stem seals looked okay when you put it back in?
Everything felt like fine. I didn't really inspect the valve stem seals,
Yep.
but I mean, each valve went back in the same spot it came out of.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, because the leak down looks okay, compression test was good, but we took the spark plugs out, we cranked the engine over, we cleaned all the spark plugs, we put them back in, and we ran it for another 5 minutes, and the spark plugs are soaked, like carbon deposit burning. And when we're doing a leak down, we're getting like 8% or whatever of leak down, but then you can see smoke coming out of another cylinder, like it's an exhaust valve leak. Yeah, I wanted to pull the valve cover, but I don't know how to do it with the Vanos stuff. Is there like a process, or is it like a simple, basically just lift it off like a normal valve cover? Or?
Yeah, will the oil control solenoids still leave on the head, or do they have to come off with the valve cover?
The Vanos solenoids.
No, just take the fuel pump, that fuel pump cover on top,
Uh-huh.
the block plate, and then the valve cover.
Oh, okay, so the Vanos just stays there even when you take the valve cover off?
I mean, if it's like the B58, I just take off the fuel pump cover and then the valve cover.
So you leave the cam control solenoids still on?
On the valve cover, yeah. On the back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how they're connected, how those things are connected to the Vanos.
I don't know either. I just take the valve cover off.
So it's just normal, just pull it off and it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hold on, Tim.
The firewall. There we go.
Dun dun dun. All right, so that does mount to the head. So that's
So there's these ports that I don't know if they're oil.
Excessive pressure blowing the oil in here.
And that
And
port
there's two.
is
going.
connected to, you know, it's like into the bottom of the fucking intake.
Oh.
So what I'm gonna
Whistling sound, the
Just
gasket?
block them off.
do, yeah, and block them.
oh, we just plug these and move on.
Block these things up.
It's so
Goddamn
simple.
BMW.
It looks really similar. Like a lot of the tools are the same, but there's a couple differences. Then they did their block out, and they're like, yeah, that's the same. So we blocked that out. They were gonna put a bigger exhaust cam in, but they said the way it bolts onto the Vanos in the back was different, so they couldn't put it in. So that's why they did all the valve springs for the bigger cam, and then went to put the cam in and said, oh, this is different than the new model B58. Well, it feels good to find the problem. I might just machine some aluminum plugs, just tight enough to
Press
tap
them
them
in.
in flat. We'll be good to go. Feels like it's gonna go in there.
Yeah. Yeah, like it showed enough. I'll stick with Jay-Z's.
What a good.
Now we gotta clean up all the mess, change the plugs, finish the car, dyno tomorrow night, put it on a trailer and send it to Michigan. Let's go home.
Recap tomorrow.
I don't even know what happened today. We got the car started yesterday and we were supposed to head to the dyno, but basically as soon as we started it up, it started smoking, and the smoking was just getting worse and worse, and trying to figure out what was going on with it, and basically came down to Sean from Griddy. He came by and we were just trying to figure out what was going on.
Oh God,
You got too close.
Tim's dangerous.
Eventually Sean pulled up you know, a bunch of forms, and apparently there's an issue with the B58s that came in all the BMWs from 2016 to probably 2019. Basically there's an air oil separator inside of the valve cover, and I think the valve inside of there's a diaphragm that's supposed to control how much air it's letting in, how much vacuum it's allowing in the engine. I think that failed, got stuck open. So basically all the vacuum from the intake manifold would just draw oil out of the crankcase and just pump it into the engine, like almost like oil injection. So pulled the valve cover off, we found the spots where it would draw the air in from, made some metal plugs, popped them in there, put it all back together, fired it up, and smoking is going away now. It's basically just residual oil in the exhaust that is smoking, but it's almost gone. hopefully everything goes well. We gotta get this thing done and head to Gridlife in like a day. So get this thing on the dyno and strap it down. Put some new spark plugs in today because the other ones were just toast, like covered in oil, and just kind of cleaned up everything on the car. There's just oil mess everywhere. Got the car together, and then we had a different catch tank setup that I basically drove the car around the block. It filled up with oil in probably a quarter of a mile of cruising in first gear. Fixed it, drained the oil tank, put the car on the trailer, brought it over here to the dyno, made some pulls, and car's running great. So, yeah, it's been a long week, but the car's running. We've got probably about 6 to 8 hours worth of work left on it to just finish up all the detail stuff, put the grills in, trim pieces, windows, stuff like that, seat belts, and then we're ready to go and hit the road, drive all the way out to Michigan for Gridlife. So we're ready to go now.
Situational awareness is huge.